So many golfers, when I'm coaching them, tell me that they have two different types of shots for their woods, particularly their driver, and their irons. And the difference is the woods they'll tend to slice, the irons they tend to pull to the left. There are some similarities with those patterns, and I want to have a look today at what causes those iron shots to go to the left. So there are a number of factors that are in play. The first one is how the player grips the club. Now, so many golfers I find grip the club with the right hand too far turned under the grip this way. Now, when the club swings toward the ball, the tendency will be for the club face to close. Now, it's never going to close as dramatically as what I'm doing here, because if it did, the ball would travel, nearly 45 degrees off to the left. Beginning golfers may do that, but as soon as you've been playing for a very short period of time, that's far less likely to happen, because there'll be some form of compensating move to allow for that. But then the higher proportion, higher than 50% anyway, are likely to still be pulled to the left because of the influence of that right hand. Could be the left hand too. So even reviewing things like, say, some of the most common concepts regarding left hand and right hand is that when I'm holding the club with my left hand, because the knuckle on my thumb and forefinger sit close together, they're not squeezed, but because they sit close together, they form a line, and that line is formed somewhere between my collarbone and my right shoulder. When I hold the club in the fingers of my right hand and close it, those same two knuckles, the knuckle on my thumb and the base knuckle on my forefinger, are quite close together, and again they form that line, and that points to the same place, somewhere between shoulder and collarbone on the right side. If I do that, my grip is said to be pretty neutral, and I'm likely to be able to eliminate that as one of the causes of the pull. The second thing is that when the club swings down, ball position can be critical. As the club swings down and forward, my club's path is moving from behind my body here out to the ball and then around behind my body again. So if the club's moving on its correct path, it's going to be moving on an arced path as I go through. Now, if I'm looking at that from a bird's eye view, the line on the ground that the club's following is not a straight line, it's a slightly curved line. Now, if I do this, I'll make it more dramatic, but if I have the ball centered or in the correct position, which is a little forward of center, that gives me the best chance of the club being on the correct path and traveling toward the target for the split second that the club hits the ball. Any point before that, so let's say I've got my ball positioned right back near my right foot here, the club face, in theory, and theory always changes in practice because we start making adjustments, but if I've got the ball positioned right back here somewhere, my club face is pointing to the right of the target at this point, so the ball can go to the right. If my ball position is too far left, as you can see here, as the club's swinging down and through, it can actually go past that point where it's straight, and it's actually starting to turn to the left a little bit, or starting to swing to the left, and the club face is closing. So check ball position. Make sure that it's somewhere between the center and a little forward of center. It doesn't have to be a perfect spot, but you'll find that when you swing the club, say on grass, and you're just allowing the club to brush the grass, have a look and see where that point is, and then start with the ball in that position and just experiment, move it around a little bit and see if it does make a difference. Check your grip first, because that's going to be the biggest influence. Then check ball position. And the third and really, really common factor is that as the club swings down, at the moment you can see that the club and my left arm are forming a right angle. As the club's approaching the ball, that angle is going to straighten out. Now that's just the physics of rotation. As I turn my body, the club wants to swing into line with my arm. My job is to control that movement, not through tension, not through manipulation, but just through the timing of the movement of my lower body, my upper body, my arms and the club, so that the club catches up to my left arm at the point of impact. If that club catches up to being in line with my left arm too soon and gets to the ball before my hands do, then the club face will close. That's actually very, very common. The other types of shots, if that's the case, The other types of shots that you can hit are hitting the ground behind the ball, catching the ball a little bit high, and also hitting shots that fly very, very high. So when you're playing the shot, what we want to do is check those things. First of all, check your grip. Is your grip pretty neutral? Is the ball positioned a little bit forward of center? And then as the club swings down and through, is the club catching up and being in line with your left arm at the right point? Unless you're recording that, or if you're recording that, you'll be able to check and see. The other thing that you can have a look at is where the club meets the ground. Now in the shot that I just hit there, I've taken a very shallow divot, but the divot didn't start until the point where I struck the ball. So if you find that your contact point's not right, that can also be an indicator that the club's swinging past here. So have a look at those three things. If you're looking to control the shots, especially with the shorter irons, and not hit them or not pull them to the left, first of all, check your grip. Second, check ball position. And third, just have a look at the sequence of the movement, and you'll be able to pick that up with your phone, because the high-speed camera on your phone is really good now. And you'll be able to check and see, has the club passed being in line with my left arm at impact, or is it pretty much in line? You get those three things right, and you'll find that the shots will definitely fly straighter, and you'll eliminate that little pull.